You know that feeling, right? The air gets a little colder, the days get shorter, and all of a sudden, you start hearing that familiar sound of coughing and sneezing everywhere. We all brace ourselves for virus season every winter, but this year just feels a little different. And as it turns out, it really is. So, what is it? What's making this season feel so off? Well, it's definitely not just in your head. Doctors on the front lines are seeing a major shift, and it's all centered around a new version of the flu that is packing a serious punch. So, let's dive in and break down what's really going on. Okay, so the alarm bells are coming straight from the experts. They're warning us about a mutated flu variant that's not only spreading like wildfire, but is hitting both kids and adults with a severity that's pretty unusual. This is not your typical run-of-the-mill flu season. This new variant actually has a name, and you're probably going to hear it a lot more. It's called Subclade K. Now, I know that sounds a little like something out of a sci-fi movie, but before you get tangled up in the terminology, just think of a subclade as one specific branch on the flu virus's big family tree. And this particular branch is very, very real. So, what is it exactly? And why is it causing so much trouble? Here's the simple breakdown. You've heard of influenza A, right? Specifically the H3N2 strain? Well, Subclade K is just a mutated version of that. And there are two really crucial things you need to know about it. First, it's highly contagious. And second, it's causing symptoms that are way more severe than what we're used to seeing with a seasonal flu. And when we say severe, we're not kidding. One of the most alarming things that doctors are seeing is an incredibly high fever. We're talking 104, even 105 degrees Fahrenheit. But what's really scary is that for a lot of people, these fevers just aren't breaking, even when they take medicines like Tylenol or Motrin. And that fever, that's just the start. People are also getting hit with this nasty, phlegmy cough that just seems to hang on forever. Then there's vomiting and diarrhea, which we're seeing across the board, even though it's usually more common in kids. And on top of all that, you've got these intense muscle aches that just make you feel completely wiped out. It's a recipe for a truly miserable time. This quote right here from an infectious disease specialist named Dr. Suchitra Rao really says it all. When an expert who's seen everything says they've never seen it this bad, this early in the season, well, that gets your attention. It tells you this is something we need to take seriously. So you might be wondering, just how widespread is this new variant? Well, get this. Of all the H3N2 flu cases that scientists have analyzed, a whopping 89% of them are this new Subclade K. So this isn't some minor player on the sidelines. It is the main driver of what's happening right now, which explains why so many people are having these consistent, severe symptoms. Of course, here's the really tricky part. It's not just the flu going around. We're in this complicated mess of a season where COVID-19 and RSV are also making the rounds. So you wake up feeling awful, and you're left wondering, what on earth do I have? Let's see if we can untangle that a bit. This chart really helps lay out the key differences. For this new Subclade K flu, the dead giveaway is that extremely high, stubborn fever we've been talking about. For COVID, while there's a lot of overlap, that loss of taste or smell can still be a unique clue, even if it's less common these days. And for RSV, especially in babies and toddlers, the big thing to watch for is wheezing or any kind of difficulty breathing. These little clues can help you start to figure out what you might be dealing with. Now, knowing the difference is one thing, but what's way more important is knowing when to stop playing doctor at home and go get actual medical help. This is absolutely critical, especially with a strain as tough as Subclade K. So let's walk through the emergency warning signs that you simply cannot ignore. Okay, for kids, the CDC has some very clear red flags. Pay close attention to their breathing. If it's really fast or if it looks like they're struggling, like you can see their ribs pulling in with every breath, that's an emergency. Bluish lips or a blue face is another immediate get help now situation. Also, watch out for severe muscle pain to the point where a child might even refuse to walk. Dehydration is a huge one. No urine for 8 hours is a major warning. And of course, a fever over 104 that you can't bring down with medicine, or any fever in a baby younger than 12 weeks means you need to call a doctor right away. And finally, if they seem to get better and then suddenly get much, much worse, that's a big red flag. The warning signs for adults are just as serious. At the top of the list is any difficulty breathing or persistent pressure in your chest. But you also need to watch for things like ongoing dizziness or confusion, seizures, or not urinating. And notice this last one is the same for both kids and adults. If you think you're getting over it and then suddenly you're hit with symptoms that are even worse than before, that could be a sign of a serious secondary infection. I just want to hammer this point home because it is so, so important. Dehydration is a massive danger with this flu. When you combine that super high fever with vomiting or diarrhea, it's a perfect storm. So the bottom line is simple. If you or your child just can't keep any fluids down, don't wait it out. That's your cue to call a doctor or head to an urgent care. Okay, I know that was a lot of pretty serious information. So let's shift gears and talk about what we can actually do about it. The goal here isn't to be scared, it's to be prepared. So here is your straightforward, no-nonsense playbook for protecting yourself and your family this winter.
It really comes down to 4 basic things. Number 1, get vaccinated. It is your single best line of defense. Number 2, the basics still work wonders, so wash your hands often and well. Number 3, if you do get sick, please wear a mask to protect the people around you. And number 4, be extra mindful and help protect the most vulnerable people in our communities, like newborns, the elderly, and anyone with a weakened immune system.
Now, let's be totally clear about the flu shot. Because Subclade K is a newer mutation, this year's vaccine isn't a perfect match for it. That's because scientists have to guess which strains will be dominant months in advance to make the vaccines. But, and this is the most important part, it is still your best tool. The vaccine is incredibly effective at reducing your risk of getting severely ill, ending up in the hospital, or worse. So it's not about preventing every single sniffle, it's about preventing the worst possible outcomes. So there you have it. We've broken down this new variant, we've compared it to the other viruses out there, and we've got a clear playbook for what to watch for and how to protect ourselves. We have all the information we need. The only question left is, what are we going to do with it?